Welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. It's Friday, November 21st, 2014, and I'm Leanne McAdoo. Here are tonight's top stories.
Tonight, as Obama betrays the Founding Fathers, fallout from his amnesty plan through executive order begins, and the GOP announces a lawsuit for rewriting federal law. Plus, corrupt police collude with Mexican drug lords in a massive student massacre in southern Mexico. All that plus updates from Ferguson up next on the INFOWARS Nightly News.
Well, he did it, folks. He said he was going to use his pen and his phone, and he did. Obama made his big prime time announcement that he's taking everything into his own hands and announces executive amnesty, of course, which is going to allow up to 5 million illegal aliens, undocumented immigrants to stay in the country and work without fear of deportation. Now, basically, anyone that wants to talk out about this is going to be against keeping the families together, because that's what he was very specific to say, that that's what this was all about, keeping families together. And if you're against that, well, you're a racist. Well, that's what this is not about. It is not about that at all. This is about the fact that he has now swept up all of this power into the executive branch. It's not about being against the families who are going to benefit from this plan. It is about this precedent that the president has now set for all future dictators in training. Now, USA Today calls it the wrong way to do the right thing, and they say that this announcement amounts to executive overreach. By taking such a broad action through executive order, Obama has set a precedent for future presidents, and as hard as it might be for Democrats to believe, someday there will be a Republican president, and that president could use an executive order to suspend enforcement of laws such as the Obamacare tax penalty for not buying health insurance. Or, of course, they could revoke Obama's plan and resume deportations, putting all of these illegal aliens who are now coming out of the shadows in danger. Basically saying that these people that are going to come out of the shadows are going to be in a sort of limbo. Now, Obama has said many times that taking things into his own hands and taking this action on his own would be against the way our system works. He said it's not how our democratic system works, but he went ahead and did it anyway. Now, Republicans are saying that they're going to sue. They've actually launched a lawsuit against the president today, charging that he has abused his authority with executive actions on health care and immigration. Now, not only did the president rewrite the health care law by delaying the employer mandate, but the lawsuit also challenges the legality of payments that are being made by the White House to insurance companies, which is designed to lower consumers' out-of-pocket costs. Now, Republicans are saying that the money for these payments was not appropriated by Congress. Now, Speaker Boehner is basically saying that if this president can get away with making his own laws, future presidents are also going to have the ability to as well. The House has an obligation to stand up for the Constitution, and that is exactly why they are pursuing this course of action. And so, of course, this is the real danger with executive amnesty. It's already been hard enough for Congress to wrestle back power that the presidents in the past have taken to just launch war indefinitely with other countries without getting congressional approval. They've already not stood up to that happening. Now we have a president who's saying, well, you're not moving fast enough on immigration, and I don't like it, so I'm just going to go ahead and do what I want. What are presidents in the future going to do? That is the real danger. That is what everyone is so upset about with this sweeping amnesty, with this executive action that the president has taken. It's not about being against families and, wanting to break families up. With this move, Obama has passed the Rubicon. Now, the argument that's being given by John Boehner is that fixing the broken immigration system should be done, but through the democratic process. It says moving bills through the people's house, through the Senate, and then on to the president's desk. Now, a lot of people say, well, there's so much gridlock, but our system is designed to have gridlock. It's designed to pass through this way so that every time there's not a re-election, the system isn't being upended and completely turned over based on whoever is setting the agenda for that day or for that term. This is why there is gridlock. It's designed to be this way. Now, Rand Paul is basically saying that President Obama is not above the law and he has no right to issue executive amnesty, saying his actions blatantly ignore the separation of powers and the principles our country was founded on. The president has said 22 times previously that he does not have the power to legislate on immigration. And then Paul goes on to say that I believe that immigration reform is needed. However, for true and effective reform, we must first secure the border. He says he's not going to sit idly by and let the president bypass Congress and our Constitution. Now, establishment Republicans are basically saying impeachment is off the table. They're worried that it could create a rallying point for Democrats, and then this would prop Hillary up to be a really strong contender for 2016. Of course, Judge Napolitano said that impeachment may be the only lawful remedy to Obama's amnesty program. So here we have a lot of people that are really upset. A lot of people don't know what's going on. Obviously, this is hotly contested, and it's not about being against families who are going to benefit from this. It's about reining in the power from this would-be dictator, because we're setting a precedent for all future presidents, all dictators in training. And seriously, how far does the president have to go? How many laws does he have to break before he will be impeached? That's the precedent that we need to set, is that if you become elected to become the president of the United States of America and you swear to uphold the oath of the Constitution and uphold the law of this land, and you don't do that, well, then you are going to be impeached. That's the precedent that we need to set. Now, moving on to Ferguson, we have an update. It's been very quiet there, but what the guys have brought us here today is that the city is planning for major civil unrest. Hospitals are saying that they're going to be prepared to lock down for at least a week. They're sending out memos to a lot of office buildings around the area. Now we know there are multi-levels of a hospital that are being set up to take care of not only the protesters, but also the police and the police officers' families as well. Here is Jakari Jackson and Joe Biggs updating David Knight earlier in the day.
We have our reporters in Ferguson, Missouri. We just talked to Joe Biggs. We're going to go back to Jakari Jackson there. They've been there all week observing the buildup to the grand jury verdict that is expected to be released today, at least perhaps as Joe was telling us, secretly or confidentially to the family of Michael Brown. That's probably not going to stay confidential. They expect this to erupt this weekend. We also have Paul Joseph Watson on the line with us as co-host from the UK. Let's go back to Ferguson to Jakari Jackson. Jakari.
Breaking news real quick. Breaking news, Barnes Christian Hospital has 3 floors that have been cleared out in anticipation of the victims of rioting.
Wow.
1 floor for injured police, 1 floor for injured protesters, 1 floor for injured police family members. That's happening right now.
Wow.
Wow, they didn't have any space for media, but okay. So,
well, you guys.
So, yeah, we have the infidel. So thank you.
That's right. You got your infidel armor, so you're fine.
Body armor. So it's a lot of stuff going on here. People are making preparations, you know, regardless if you think this is a big deal or not. The people here are making serious preparations. You just heard about the hospital. The National Guard is ready to move. We see the cops already out in riot gear. At least they go out to the protests there in riot gear and all that. So the people here on the ground are taking this very seriously. The majority of people I've talked to since I've been here, they're peaceful people. They do expect some agent provocateurs. If you guys see that video I posted, not last night, but the night before, and I talked to the guy in the Guy Fawkes mask, and he was saying that the majority of the people here are good, peaceful people, but they do expect the agent provocateurs and people who just want to come in and kick up stuff, to burn down, to riot, to loot. They do expect those people to come in, but by and large, the crowds here are mostly peaceful.
Oh, absolutely. And as you guys reported earlier this week, gun sales are up 300%. And in some cases at some of these stores, they're saying that 75% of those sales are first-time gun owners. So you guys have got your infidel body armor there. Hopefully you're going to be safe in this. But like you said, they don't have a floor for reporters. That's amazing news. They've cleared away 3 floors, 1 for protesters, 1 for police, and 1 for the families of police. That's what I'm concerned about, and that's that kind of agent provocateuring where you've got the threats.
You remember, David, they came out earlier this week. the list of the targets got released, you know, there's many things on there, including Monsanto, other local businesses, and also many officers' families. And to anybody out there watching, if you think that targeting the families of these officers is going to do anything besides just agitate them to the point where they will have no patience, I'm not exactly sure what you're expecting to happen.
It just feeds the narrative that this is a war zone, and that's not what the message we need to be sending to our police. We need to be sending a different message to them. Well, thank you, Jakari. We're going to stay up with you to see what's happening there. Of course, there's a press release coming up. We have agent provocateurs that are covert. We also have overt agent provocateurs like Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton, the FBI informant.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with super male or super female vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
Introducing the first proprietary oxygen-based intestinal cleanser, OxyPowder, backed by FDA-approved Phase 1, 2, and 3 clinical trials. All the toxins from the air, the food, the water, ultimately ends up in the gut or affects the gut. Take your health into your own hands and start cleansing your body today with OxyPowder. Secure your OxyPowder today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
A convenience store confrontation ended in tragedy after a man suspected of being in the country illegally approached and stabbed a college football player to death. Police in McMinnville, Oregon, are still baffled as to why 33-year-old Juventino Bermudez Arenas attacked 20-year-old Linfield College student Parker Moore after entering a 7-Eleven convenience store last Saturday night. Police, however, say when Bermudez Arenas went back to the store, he allegedly refused orders to drop a knife in his possession, prompting police to open fire on him, killing him dead. Bermudez Arenas' family is also puzzled as to why he might have carried out the violent attack, as he reportedly did not have mental health issues, used drugs or drink, and was not involved in gang activity. Yesterday, investigators revealed Bermudez Arenas was likely living in the U.S. illegally, though he'd worked in the country since at least the year 2000. During a previous run-in with the law, he had given police a variation of his name, Juventino Bermudez. Police say there is no connection between Moore and his assailant and that the attack appeared to be random. Moore was a college student majoring in business management. He was also a resident advisor and linebacker with the Linfield Wildcats, which just proceeded to the NCAA Division III playoffs after a shutout victory on Saturday.
Man of character, extremely talented. 3 factors that are really hard to find when we're recruiting guys. And every coach that we had on our staff fell in love with Parker the minute we met him.
An investigation into the incident is still ongoing. It is not clear if Bermudez Arenas had ever come into contact with federal immigration agencies.
In fact, we're just beginning to recognize how much pain there is.
InfoWars.com.
You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? Well, we're bringing you a total win-win. The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. We have produced a limited run of DNA Force, and it will take up to 12 weeks to produce more once we sell out. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. DNA Force from InfoWars Life.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and